Hello and welcome to India From Afar. This is the first episode. My name is Graham Hughes and I'm joined by Pranay Manocha. How you doing, Pranay? You all right?
Very well,
Can you hear me
thank you.
okay?
Thank
Is
you
the
so much
tech
for
all
having me.
working? uh,
Yes, no, everything's working, I think.
so you're a
Great.
technologist. You're also a political campaigner. You've been involved in political campaigns such as the stop the Tories,
Yeah.
to do with and also to do with uh, I've lost the word. I've lost the words,
Brexit.
Pranay. What's it called?
Yes,
Tactical voting. Thank you.
yes, tactical voting,
Tactical voting.
Brexit,
Yeah,
all of that.
anti-Brexit
Yeah.
stuff. Not for Brexit. Make it very clear.
No,
Anti-Brexit because Brexit
yeah.
sucks. The big one. So before we get cracking, we're going to be talking about Indian politics. Now, this is hopefully we'll do a series and we'll do this, again in the future. But tonight we're going to be talking about the Cockroach Party protests that have happened in the last few weeks. It's just been an amazing thing to see from outside. So Pranay is going to give us a bit of the inside track on that. Now you're Indian. You were born in India. You've got an Indian passport, but you've lived in London for what, over 20 years now? Is it?
Well, I have lived in the UK, I'd say,
Yeah.
for a cumulative total of 20 years because I haven't
Right.
lived in a single thing. Like I
Wow.
lived here for a couple of years and then now for 16 or 17. But yeah, I've lived all over well, mainly the south and the southeast. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. Brilliant. Okay. So in
long
the chat,
time.
we've got Punninator, we've got Diz, we've got Simon Smith. But band of hard japs as well in there as well, and Saz. If you'd like to join our friends in the friendly chat, just hit the friendly subscribe button and wait for 1 minute and be able to ask us questions or ask Pranay questions, because I'm going to be doing this now. I'm just going to be asking you questions, mate, because I don't really know what's going on. All I
Sure.
know is, this is my limited knowledge of this, there was an education minister who you got to go into the whole thing about exams and like how it's like the Hunger Games in India,
Sure.
and then
Yeah, it is.
there was this Canadian, an Indian living in Canada who started this protest movement, which grew to like over 2 million people getting involved. So please take it from the top. How did this all get started? What happened with these exams? What happened with the education system in
Yeah.
India?
Yeah. Well, I think that there are I think that there are I think there are a number of background issues that kind of led to this because of course
Yeah.
there was a trigger, but also for like quite a few years, there has been discontent brewing as well. So this was mainly triggered by the CJI, or the Chief Justice of India, who is the head of the Indian Supreme Court,
Okay.
uh, who was looking at a case about, I think it was some kind of junior lawyer who was not happy that a lower court did not accord him the title of a senior advocate or something. But
Yeah.
basically, the CJI, or the Chief Justice of India, made a comment that there are all these people with sort of lower category of degrees and lower standards of education who come into India's institutions and expect to be treated well. And he referred to students as cockroaches, as in these, students that he classed
So are
as.
these students with actual degrees from actual universities?
Yeah, yes, yeah, yeah, right. So
Is
so the comment wasn't really related to the case at hand, right? But it was more like an offhand comment, but it really stung
yeah, yeah, yeah. I can
because
imagine.
India is a very young place anyway, right? And
Yeah, yeah,
and
yeah.
there's loads of people, and there's a huge problem with either unemployment or also un or also doing jobs that are not quite to their degree level and things like that. So so yeah, this was taken extremely personally by pretty much every young person in India.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
understandably.
yeah, so that kind of created a huge backlash. How can someone in, well, wasn't just like a random person, really, was the most senior justice in India,
Yeah.
making a comment like that, degrading
So
people who may have been born into poverty, went
yeah,
to college, struggled through somehow, and living a difficult life. and then being referred to as a cockroach,
So tell me about the
So,
Chief Justice. So
yeah,
this wasn't the Education Minister who's resigned. This is
no,
somebody else.
no,
Are they still in
yes,
their
yeah,
post? Is this Chief Justice still in the?
yes,
Oh my God! And is
yes,
this
yes.
tied in with the caste system?
Um, well, I'd say there would be an undercurrent of class, definitely.
Yeah,
Caste, I
not
wouldn't.
caste, but
I mean, it's
class.
not clear. Yeah, like
Yeah,
class would be, very similar to how class is perceived in the UK, for example,
yeah,
like people who go to highly regarded professional institutions or people who come from extreme poverty and then struggle their way up through any college they can get into.
yeah.
There are different layers of, uh, people who can get into professional work environment somehow. So yeah, this wasn't caste related directly because it was felt by nearly every because it was felt by nearly every student in India, or at least every, or like even every youth in India, I'd say, every
Right.
young person.
Bloody hell. So I mean, this insult being called cockroaches then took on a life of its own when someone picked up that
Yeah,
insult off the ground and went, okay, this is what you want to
right.
call us.
Yeah.
And so what happened
Yes.
next?
Well, yeah. So this came in the context of one of India's largest exams being like cancelled. Recently, I think it was May that it got cancelled because the paper got leaked. And of course, if a paper leaks, then the results are void, and
Right.
so
So what
people have
kind
to
of
take it
exam was this?
again.
Was this university or was this high school? You, what's the
Yeah, yeah.
equivalent?
Well, okay. So we're going to need to go down a rabbit hole now because
Okay,
this
go on, let's
is
jump down the
a
rabbit
vast
hole.
area. Right. So India has a lot of people, right? And quite a few graduate high school every year.
Hmm,
And there are only a limited number of medical colleges, engineering colleges, any kind of college or
yeah,
any kind of university place.
right.
So the kind of competition for these places is insane. Uh, when I say insane, I mean like if like a ratio of 1 to 5 would be a great ratio, like five, like people apply in one place and like one gets in. This was an exam for this was an exam for the medical colleges in India. This is a
Yeah,
joint exam,
yeah,
and which essentially conducted, like all over India for like every kind for like every kind for like every kind of medical seat there is. So I think that about 2.4 or 2.5 million people gave the exam this year.
yeah,
And so they did that, I think, a 20th, the for about a 20th, like the number of seat, about 130, 140,000 seats.
wow.
So it's very hard to get in. The exam itself is extremely challenging, extremely difficult. They basically test you on subjects far beyond what a high schooler should know or
Yeah,
could know. So people have to prepare for these exams for like years just to have a chance of getting in. And then also it's based on luck. So when these big exams get cancelled, you may have built up yourself psychologically for that one day to be at the peak of your performance because you have to go through like 20 books and various
yeah,
things, right? And for quite a few people, they have to travel to give the exam somewhere else, to another city, perhaps. Some people might not be able to afford it. In fact, quite a few people would not be able to afford it.
mm,
They would have to manage where are they going to stay that is safe and that they can afford. So there's a whole lot of logistics around this.
yeah,
So, so having the paper leak meant that this exam would need to be conducted again, and
right.
this was not the first leak. This is a pattern. Like every year, there's
Yeah,
about like I don't know, probably like 100 entrance exams happening in India. So, if 5 or 10 of them leak, that's not like a rare like thing. That is not a rare thing anymore. So yeah, and that came down to accountability, as the
yeah,
like the cockroach party said.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And then so this was all tied in with this insult. So they took that insult, which was said by the Chief Justice, but then
Yes.
this leak happened. And what was the attitude? So at the moment, the people in charge is the BJP party, which
Yeah.
I've referred to them as a bit like the BNP in the UK, but a Hindu
Yeah.
nationalist party that
Yeah.
doesn't seem to understand that India was based. The idea of it was secular,
Yeah.
allowing all these
Right.
different religions and none to exist. Yeah, this guy is this Chief Justice. Sorry, not Chief Justice. The education guy. He has now been kicked out, hasn't he? And this is the first
Yes.
wound of the Modi era, isn't it? He's been in charge what over 10
Yes.
years now, or 13 years,
Well,
something like
yeah,
that.
he had looked after various portfolios over the years. I think he was the oil and gas. I think he was the oil and gas minister before.
Right.
But yeah, he has been in the cabinet since Modi came to power, which was 2014. This is his third term.
Yeah.
So this is the BJP's third term in power. So yeah, and in the 12 years, I think there has just been one instance of a minister leaving, and that was because of a secondary reason. As in, it wasn't because they were being held
Yeah.
sort of, accountable, or if they had to resign because of a scam or because of some kind of, embarrassment to the government, nothing like that. In the
Yeah.
UK, it's of course very, very, I mean, in the UK, it's of course still relatively professional. Even in the the Tory party, there is an expectation that if you do not perform or if you do something really bad, you have to go.
Like
So
like Liz
India,
Truss,
that is
right?
not the case anymore.
Right. Okay. So I
Yeah.
mean, this is. I mean, I think most people in the UK who are interested in politics in any way are aware of Modi. Do you think that the Western coverage of Indian politics is too focused on Modi personally when there's a lot of other stuff going on?
Yeah, well, I think India goes beyond Delhi, as this protest has shown, right? Because um, the protest, for example, there was one person who was key behind this protest.
Yeah.
And he was just like a very frustrated young person. He was, in fact, in like Boston, if I remember correctly. He had gone to University of Boston, and he comes from a very lower class. He
Yeah.
comes from a caste which is just slightly above the untouchables. I mean, he is from what you would consider the underprivileged people in India, like
Yeah.
extremely underprivileged. And so to have gone to universe, for that person to have somehow man, for that person to have somehow managed to get into University of Boston in the US, yeah, and to be able to afford that,
Yeah.
or like get a bank loan, as he said he did, to go and afford that. That's a huge, huge thing to have done. So he just saw this, and he created a page on Instagram, he created an account on X, Twitter,
This was only two
and
months
he
ago,
created a
wasn't it?
website.
This was only in
Yeah, it
May
was.
this year.
It was in
Yeah.
May. Yeah,
Yeah.
right. It
That's
was in,
crazy,
yeah.
isn't it? That this has
So it's
snowballed
just
so
been,
quickly. So it was
it
called the
has.
Cockroach Janta Party, the Janta meaning people, I guess. And then that's
Yes,
obviously a
yes,
mistake of the BJP, not the blowjob
right.
party. Who said that in the chat? Calm down,
Precisely.
Jenny. The BJP. So it's the CJP. And
Yes.
after this, the Chief Justice compared unemployed young people and activists as parasites and cockroaches.
Yeah.
And it began as an online satire. This is almost like something from a comedy show or or a comedy
Yeah.
meme thing, and just taking a life of its own. And we wouldn't know about that in the UK because we don't have anything like Count Face or anything currently running against one of the most famous politicians in Britain. But
Right.
yeah, I mean, this is amazing the way this has gone, because this is kind of like a bit of a dream of mine of one of these comedy things actually snowballing into something that actually affects
Yeah.
the government. Now you're talking about the examination scandal that took place. So the results were leaked. What was it? The answers were leaked, and that's why, and they just
No,
got rid
no,
of them all.
no. Well, the question, yeah, yeah, yeah. The question paper was leaked, basically.
Yeah,
So you know what questions were going to come. Or well, some people. So the thing is that because these kind of entrance exams are extremely significant to people's lives
Yeah.
because they determine whether you get to college or what do you do in college and which college you get to. Um, there is a huge industry of coaching classes throughout India.
Yeah.
I mean, people pay thousands of pounds, tens of thousands of pounds. They sell jewelry, they,
Well, this is
sell
it.
their land,
It's the
whatever it
years of
is.
preparation went into these exams,
Yeah,
didn't it? For many families, 2 million
yeah,
people took the exam. 2 million kids
yes.
took the
Which
exam.
means, yeah, 2 million people, yes, 2 million took like particular exam this year, right?
Yeah.
So, and this is not the only exam. So there's like a large, there's quite a large population that is affected. So, because there's a huge coaching classes industry in India,
Yeah.
so there is a huge incentive for leaked pa leaked papers to reach these centers, coaching centers,
Mm.
and for them to sell them on to the highest bidder
Right. Right.
because it is easier to know the questions than to have prepared for 3 years or 4 years, right?
Yeah.
And even if you have like prepared for 3 or 4 years for the exam, it is like still better to pay if you know that this is going to come. So yeah,
But then
uh,
a lot of people who didn't even see the answers would have paid. There would have
right.
been years of preparation. What was this?
Yeah.
The medical entrance examination, wasn't it?
Yes.
That's what
Yeah.
it was.
Right.
And yeah, so you'd have people spending substantial sums on private coaching, like you said, but also, there's a lot of preparation goes in to getting the kids up to the standard where they can take these exams. And yeah, the sort of the attitude of the government of just like, oh, who cares? It really came back to bite them, because I think this is something that really did, as the
Yeah.
movement spread through all walks of life in India, because it affects all walks of life, right? Is it not just one particular
Right.
religion or caste or class
Precisely.
or whatever?
Yeah. Yeah.
It's just like young people are
Yeah.
just like really fucked off at the fact that we're being run and told what we're to do by all these geriatrics.
Yes, no, this is exactly the sentiment many young like people in India have. Like
Yeah,
they are frustrated that they are being led by people who are old, people who don't care about them, people who consistently fail to deliver something that is essential to their own personal progress. They have huge ambitions for both themselves and also for India.
yeah,
And they find that this terrible administration of, you know, things that are key to their success is like basically holding them back.
yeah,
And
yeah.
so, of course, they are going to vent it any which way they can.
But
And
this
I think
this
they vented it very nicely and very
yeah.
peacefully and very, very like humorously. And
I
yeah,
think this is a
really,
huge
really good.
thing. I was going to say, I mean, this
Yeah,
particular political scandal broke through to the mainstream, and there's been political scandals before, but it's always seemed to affect one segment of society in India. It's not affected
right.
literally. It's not
Yeah,
broken through the boundaries, whereas this really did. And I think you're right. Humor
yeah,
had played a huge role in this, and I love this.
yeah.
One of the things that we always say about fascists and the likes of Trump and Farage and all that, they just got no sense of humor. They hate
They
being
have no
laughed
sense
at
of
more than
humor.
anything. You call them a fascist, they don't care. They don't care. You tell them that they're a psychopath, they don't care. They're like, yeah, whatever. But if you laugh at them, they're like, how dare you? Because they're so full of themselves. But
Yeah,
the CJP, the Cockroach Janta Party, communicated through memes, short videos, parody speeches, and deliberately absurd slogans. And it really sort of started off as just let's have a laugh at this situation, and it just
yeah.
it really did snowball. What do you think really changed in those couple of months that actually achieved 2 million people out on the streets going, what the hell?
Yeah. Well, so I think the day the person launched the Instagram account, so every Indian's on Insta, by the way, because like because basic because basically TikTok is banned because it's China and
Right.
India is not friends with China. So that's banned. So everybody ends up using like Instagram or YouTube.
Yeah.
and for like video, that is. And so I think in the first few hours, they got like 8 million or 10 million followers on Instagram. And in 24 hours, they were up to like 15 or 20 million, something like that. So they, they found traction almost immediately. And so the next bit for them, and so the next bit for the founder then was who else to bring on to as the like the spokesperson, as his sort of team,
Yeah.
so that they could make the changes happen.
Yeah.
And the kind of team that he assembled is one of the reasons that this protest was successful in terms of like achieving its goal. Because very rarely do protests achieve their goal, and very rarely do they achieve it so quickly. Now, the war hasn't been won yet. This was just like one thing that happened. Like it's a long battle, like over many years, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Because the goal is to make sure that we are administered by the right people, and the like BJP goes, for example, and other things. But yeah, the other, students, the student team was really, really competent and knew how to do this.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, I think it's significant that protesters are openly mocking Modi, because I think people have been afraid to do that for a long time, because that
Yeah.
the security services have been quite heavy-handed in the past, haven't they? And there's been tens of thousands gathered in Delhi a couple of weeks ago and attempted to march towards Parliament. There was that amazing image of the woman standing in front of the
Yeah.
van full of detainees, wasn't it? Was it detainees that she was standing in front of? Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yes, so that was in Bombay, in fact, and this protest had like spread to quite a few cities around India. And so this woman, as I remember, or as I've read anyway, she was just walking and she saw this police bus putting all these protesters and taking them away. And she went and asked the like, cops under what law, under what like, authority are they arresting them. And she was told they are just being like they are like just like being like detained, and the cops weren't able to give her the exact law. So she just went in front of the bus and said, you know stop, and I am not like gonna let you move. So yeah, that 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 showed, I think that one photo
Yeah,
has undone the 12 years of the BJP and, Narendra Modi putting the fear into every Indian that they cannot protest. Because to see a woman, and a young woman, stand in front of a police bus, that is a very liberating feeling for people who have not been able to express themselves
yeah,
or express their sort of dissent for so long. It has been suppressed for so many years that, like a symbol like this carries a lot of power. Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
definitely.
Absolutely. So yeah, I'll bring it up on the screen now if I can, if this is going to let me. I don't
Yeah,
know if it will. But yeah, it's a really, really powerful image. There you go. There's it at the side there of this woman, and she's I mean, it's almost there up there with the Tiananmen Square guy with his plastic bags,
it
in
is.
front of the tank. She's just standing there in the pouring rain in India, with a hand on the front of the bus there,
Yeah,
just going, no, no, I'm not having this, hand on hip.
yeah.
Brilliant. That is such a iconic image. And I think this is because this isn't going to be the end of it, is it? Like, this is going to
No,
continue on.
this is just like the beginning. This is the point at which the dam has burst, and it's like, or like rather, I don't know the right like, analogy here, I guess, but like this is the point when people realize that they can achieve something through through their like part in protest, and
Yeah,
that every single person can achieve something that they didn't feel they could before.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. But yeah, I mean that this is absolutely phenomenal what's happened. But there was also some really serious side to this. There was the environmental campaigner Sonam Wangchuk,
Yeah.
who joined the wider campaign through a hunger strike. He fasted for
Yeah.
26 days. Now, this is got a big cultural significance in India, if I'm right, doesn't it?
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. So I think that in like India, people are revered for the personal sac for the like the personal sac for the personal sacrifices that they make. And Sonam Wangchuk is a very sort of impressive figure. Like there was I think it was the highest grossing Bollywood movie at that time, Three Idiots, and it was based on his life
Right.
about this crazy engineer who is a like a genius and who can do things with basic stuff given to him, and he can create amazing stuff that even like as like the world's like top scientists cannot create. And Sonam is that person, this who is now I think in his 70s if I remember correctly. uh, but yeah, I mean he is that guy, and he and he basically went on a like a hunger strike, other like a fast basically, and he gave up food, and he said that I am not going to eat till this education minister resigns.
Yeah.
And he is sat there on the stage as a sort of symbol of the protest that somebody this that like somebody this like that like somebody this like respected in India. If I was to compare him to someone in the UK, I think it would be somebody like Captain Tom, like
Yeah.
somebody who is respected by like every single person,
Yeah.
like there is no, yeah. So if like someone like that goes on stage and said that I am not going to eat until this education minister who has caused trouble to lots of these to like lots of these students isn't going to resign, then that means that every news like channel and every politician, suddenly
Mm.
starts to care about what's going on here, even if they didn't care about the 20 million, like
Yeah.
Instagram followers or anything like that. So
Yeah.
yeah, that kind of made a huge change to how this was viewed
Yeah,
and how it achieved what it did.
taking it like more seriously, having that serious edge to it as well. So it
Right.
wasn't just a joke. It was like, no, this is something that can
Yeah.
actually make things change. Now, the education minister resigned 5 days ago. We were talking about doing this show, weren't we, last week? I was thinking, oh, we should have just done this last week because it would have been perfect timing. But he resigned on
Yeah.
the on the 25th. The education minister, that was Dharmendra Padhan. The protesters treated this departure as like their central victory, but there is more to be done. Now, Modi has established an examination reform task force led
Yeah.
by a technology entrepreneur. And this is, legislation has been brought in to increase penalties for examination, for leaks and fraud. Uh, and the movement paused its nationwide agitation in India, but it's not dissolved, has it? Now, do you think there's going to be lasting
No, it's
change off the
just,
back of this, with not just the minister leaving, but this taking it a lot more seriously than the government seemed to before?
well, I think what this has done is it's just unlocked the power of protest, right? So, and as you say, the I mean, the government promised a lot of things to get the protest out because it was quite embarrassing to it because it was only like 300 or 400 meters away from Parliament. It was causing them to take, I mean, to like for like them to take like another road to get to Parliament and stuff like that. And like Independence Day is coming up in a couple of weeks, so they do things around that time. So
Yeah,
this was quite embarrassing. So and so they promised that they would do a lot of things, which is why the protest was called off for now. Key being that the education minister resigns. But the reason behind asking for his resignation was that ministers should be held accountable when they do not deliver.
yeah,
And so the accountability is the central reason for the protest. And whatever this task force or other things that the government does, if it doesn't bring results on the ground, the protest is ready to go. And in fact, the protest might be ready to restart sooner than that, because as part of the deal, the government, the BJP, promised that the students who protested would not be harassed by the police, would not be further detained or any such thing. And this does not seem to be the case, as in the police continues to harass them.
Yeah.
And so there is a there is a strong possibility that the protest will restart. And if it does restart, it's going to come with a much bigger, broader goal than just a single minister resigning.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, yeah. And
So
I don't think it will have any less power then.
yeah.
Like it will have like even more, if anything.
But what's the feeling across India like about the next elections in India? Is the feeling that the BJP are going to walk it again, or is there a swelling of discontent with the way that they're running things?
Well, I mean, the BJP, although they've been in power now for 12 years, this is their third term. So like a term in India is like 5 years, so 5 and 5. So they have now completed 2 years of their 5-year term. Uh, they did not win the popular vote. Far
Right.
from it. If I remember correctly, I think BJP won about 35 or 36% of the vote. But India also suffers from the same thing that many ex like British colonies suffer from, including the UK, which is first past the post. And the BJP is very clever about how it games the first past the post system by forming regional coalitions and
Yeah.
making sure that it gets one more vote than the other party, right? So uh, whether they will stay in power or not is really dependent on the mechanics of first past the post. But would they get a lower popular vote share than they did last time around? Definitely.
Yeah.
But yeah,
God,
hard to say if anyone else can take their place, though.
yeah. Yeah. No, so yeah, Modi's been in charge, what did I say, 13 years, 12 years, 12 years, sorry. It just feels longer somehow. But I first came across his name when I was in Gujarat in 2002, and I was there in February
Oh, you
2002.
were there in 2002. Wow.
When I was there, like I think about a week or maybe 2 weeks before that massacre took place, in which 1,000 Muslims were murdered. So the backstory of this was that there was a carriage full of Hindus that was set alight, and the Muslim community in Ahmedabad were blamed for it, even though nobody knew what actually happened. And Modi was the governor of that particular state of Gujarat at the time, and he came under a lot of criticism at the time for basically doing very little to stop this massacre taking place, and for the people criticised him for stirring up racial tension or religious tension. And he's and then the BJP. I remember reading stuff about the BJP when I was there in India in 2002, and they were seen as not necessarily a joke party, but they were kind of very much on the periphery. They were coming last in elections and stuff. It was a bit like the movement of UKIP to eventually
Yeah.
now as the refuck party becoming this really strong voice in the country's politics for some stupid reason, or Trump even. And it's all populism, isn't it? It's all populism, and much of the media over in India is very much on the side of Modi, as far as I'm aware. Is this true? Is this the
Yeah.
way it is?
Yeah, no, it is. In fact, there is a term to refer to it. It is called Godi media. So GODI media. GODI is the Hindi word for your is the Hindi word for your lap. So this is to say that this media is in his lap, basically,
Right.
Godi media.
Modi's Godi.
So yeah,
So,
yeah,
and
precisely.
this is again why it's quite significant that this movement has grown on Instagram. It's grown through social media
Yeah,
channels that Modi
yeah,
can't
yeah.
control, and I think this is
You're right.
quite significant for people in other countries who are looking at how to defeat the hard right, especially in this country
Yeah.
where, yeah, all the hard right own all the newspapers. That you've got a
Yeah.
channel like GB News, which is basically Reform UK television. That half the
Yeah.
presenters are part of Reform, and
Yeah.
it's obscene the stuff that they get away with because the regulator's not regulating properly. And if
Yeah.
anyone says anything about, this is a bit wrong, isn't it? They say, oh, it's freedom of speech, freedom of speech. When it suits them, obviously. But like I said, do you think this bodes well for the future in India, like with the political system? Do you think that we might get out of this morass at some point, or do you think it's a bit too entrenched now?
Well, I hope so. Yes, no, I think so. I think so. I think the Yeah, I think people, like, say if you're like 25 and in India right now, like if you're 25 years old and in India, you've pretty much only seen like Modi as prime minister since you were 13.
Yeah,
And all you've seen on the news ev- is like everyone praising him for like one thing or the other, because that's all they do all day long.
Jesus.
Praise him. There are photos of him down the roads. I mean, India, you cannot walk down a road without seeing like a political poster or a political billboard, and there will be the photo of him or, local leaders on that.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
yeah, it's very hard to escape that. So yeah, it will change because, like, although social media is widely known around the world for fake news in terms of, uh s- spreading news that can create confusion, for example, during
yeah,
COVID it did, right? So but in India it's almost reverse, because the kind of mainstream media
yeah,
is so enamored by Modi, is so beholden to him, because of who owns all these channels. There's about 300 news channels in India. So this is not
wow,
the kind of niche. Yeah, it's like completely relentless. And
wow,
they are nearly all owned by some kind of rich person,
yeah,
who is, of course, because they want government contracts, or not even government contracts, but they need permission
yeah,
to work without being like harassed by the work without being harassed by the government. This is their way of saying thank you,
yeah,
right? So if you are worth 20 million pounds or 100 million pounds, you say, fine, I'm going to devote 3 or 4 or 5 million pounds of my worth into this new regional channel that is just going to broadcast 24-hour news praising my local politicians, because if they're going to be happy, then I'm going to do my business and I'm going to make more profit.
yeah,
So this is a vast system in India.
yeah.
So that's why social media works, because that's beyond the reach of them, although that's also owned by another mega billionaire. But that's the way the world rolls.
We've got a question for you, Pranay, from
Yeah.
Puninator. Has any of the opposition parties jumped on the cockroach train? And yeah, I mean, the Congress leader, Rahul Gandhi, has supported the
Yeah.
demonstrators and condemned the police response. Opposition parties have,
Yeah.
have, have joined parliamentary protests over the examination scandal. But this whole thing originated outside Congress, outside the established party structure in India, and it
Yeah.
started outside India. Like the guy who founded it wasn't even
Yeah.
in India at the
Right.
time, but I
So
believe he went over, didn't he?
yes, he like did. And he said that he went back only with like cabin bags, because he wasn't sure if he's going to be put in prison as soon as he lands.
Wow.
Because of course, BJP doesn't like criticism, and they
No.
knew that if he comes that he would create some problem, right? Um, so he landed and he didn't know what would happen. But I think they've been politically smart about keeping distance from the political parties so as not to be seen as politically biased, because that's one of the attack lines that the Godi media uses,
Yeah.
that these guys are just like the Congress party in disguise, or the
Yeah.
Aam Aadmi party in disguise, or one of the other parties. And so they say they are being paid by somebody else. But they have made this into jokes and into memes, like they say, yes, China paid like my like 100 rupees to come by bus to the protest today, and Pakistan paid me 100 rupees for like
Who's saying
I mean
this?
for like
Sorry.
me like to go and have lunch today. So yeah.
Who's saying
Uh,
this?
huh?
Who's saying this about India paying and sorry, about China paying and
Oh,
Pakistan paying?
this is no. So this is how they've made fun about the allegations that these protests are funded by foreign actors, like
Right,
George
right.
Soros or some
George
or like
Soros. Oh
some
my
other
God.
state,
Yeah, yeah,
and so their challenge has been, that it doesn't really cost much to protest. It just costs your time, and you just have to pay for food, which they can pay, of
yeah,
course. I mean, they paid for this exam, so they can pay for this. But yeah, political parties have attached themselves, but the protesters have been clever to not have been overcome by uh, what the opposition party's political objectives are, which are not the same.
yeah, yeah. It's crazy though, isn't it? I mean, this whole thing is just it's so quickly over such a huge area.
I have been fascinated by it, honestly. It is just so nice to see. And especially when you see the youth of your country rise,
Yeah.
and be as loud and outspoken as that. And
It must come as a
to
welcome
not be
relief because
afraid.
I'd love to see that in this
Yeah, it
country, to be
is.
honest
It
with you,
is.
because I do worry
No,
that we
tell
are
me
being
about
told what to
right.
do by old people who continually vote to make our lives worse and their lives better. And
Right.
it's like,
Yeah.
can you stop doing? Not all
No,
old
like I
people.
have been waiting and waiting, right? Because it's been so many years of, everyone's idea of India. I mean, for people of sort of previous generations. Like, I mean, I think Gen X, whatever. But like, previous generation had a different idea of India.
Yeah,
And it's great to see young people not only protest fearlessly, but protest on the idea of India. Protest across class. Protest across caste, be so gender aware as well, like the way the protests were created, and I mean the protest sites themselves, creating a safe space for women to come and protest, for example, or creating a safe space as much as possible within India and Delhi and Mumbai, like infrastructure, disabled people to come and protest as well. It's like they are creating this symbolic idea that young people care about this, and
yeah,
everybody seems to.
yeah,
So yeah, it's
yeah.
really good to see.
Polonaise is asking if the issues with Russia taking young men from India to fight in Ukraine through fake recruitment has been linked with the cockroaches.
Mm, as far as I know, not directly, but like again, this now it's not very clear how large these numbers are,
Yeah,
because there's not enough independent journalism in India anymore because of reasons I just said, right? So it's hard to know for sure. But the reasons Indians have gone over to Ukraine, for example, to fight for Russia
yeah,
is because they haven't got jobs in India.
yeah,
And if they haven't got jobs, they'll go anywhere they can find work. So, you find desperate men and you take them where like your selfishness, um yeah, where you kind of need them to be for your selfish needs.
yeah, yeah,
But yeah,
yeah,
I'm not sure how this links in to CJP. I mean, it
yeah.
might, but
Well,
I'm not yeah, I'm aware of it.
so what happens next? They're already campaigning for education to receive 15% of the state budget. They've also demanded that the Home Minister Amit Shah has resigns over
Oh, Amit Shah is a big one,
The
definitely.
Delhi police
Yeah,
crackdown, which was completely over the top, to use
it
against
was.
peaceful protesters, unarmed peaceful
Well, yeah.
protesters. And I
Yeah, no,
think
I think yeah.
I was going to say, I think in the past when there have been protests that have been put down violently, it's been a group in Indian society. They might be geographically, or they might be, ethnically not linked with the greater population. But I'm getting the feeling with the Cockroach Party is that everybody knows someone who's affected by this. You know, it's like 6 degrees of separation. Everybody knows someone,
Yeah.
a young person who hasn't got the opportunities in
Oh,
life that
I
they
was
should
affected
because
by
of.
this as well, like a
Oh,
long time
really?
ago.
Go on,
Yeah.
tell us your story.
So, so when I finished my school, I kind of wanted to go and do computer science, and I didn't get my preferred college when I gave my exam after
Mm,
then. So I basically dropped 1 year after school,
yeah,
and I just like studied for these, and like studied for these exams, and I gave my computer science exam 1 year later, and that exam was leaked, and so it got cancelled. And I was so sure that I had done well in that exam that when I found out that it was cancelled, or like not cancelled, but it would be conducted again in another month,
yeah,
that my entire, the motivation that I had built up just went away.
yeah,
And
yeah,
I didn't even look at my books for the next 1 month. So, my performance in the following exam was much worse than I would have expected.
right,
Uh,
right,
so yeah, I know how it feels.
yeah,
And this has happened in India for a long time. And I think what you were saying about Amit Shah and about the Delhi police crackdown, I think what this has done, because this was on social media, because this was being recorded on thousands of phones,
yeah,
uh, there is now evidence for everybody to see that every system in India suffers from corruption, suffers from sort of intoxication with power,
yeah,
right? Because the police is not supposed to do what it did. No laws in India allow police to beat, students with like sticks
yeah,
unprovoked. You cannot use tear gas like that. They use some metal pellets that like damage people's, faces and necks.
yeah,
Um, you cannot use that under law, but they did. They did because they felt that they are not really accountable, that no one's going to catch them.
yeah,
No, that like the police are above the law, basically. And what this protest shows is that that is not the case. They will be found,
yeah.
and this will,
But it seems that
so
also it's not just the cockroach parties hasn't seemed to have drawn in people who are just pissed off about the education side of things and these exams being leaked. It's grown into something bigger. People who are pissed off at Modi, pissed off with the BJP, pissed off with just Parliament in general. I think Congress over in
yes,
India, that they're pissed
absolutely.
off with the whole damn system. And I think this, there is a good chance that if the BJP fail to contain this, to absorb it, to divide the movement, criminalize the movement, whatever they're going to try and do, this could really, turn into a force for the future in politics. A force standing up
Yeah.
for being the voice of young people across India, I guess.
Yes, I think so. And I think that, there are I think for me, one of the most like hopeful moments from this has been the fact that, there are so many thousands of bot accounts
Yeah,
and paid for accounts and paid for creators on like social media, right? But because everybody was united for this protest, their voices became louder than all these bots combined, than all these sort of right-wing creator accounts combined. And so I think that offers a playbook
yeah,
for us here as well, perhaps. I don't know. I mean, we don't have the kind of numbers of, students that India has, but I think if we could unite behind a single cause, and if we all talk about that cause in a way, or if we all talk about that cause, we can overwhelm the bots, and we can finally get the right news flowing, basically.
yeah,
Yeah, that is
yeah,
possible.
yeah. And then, like, this whole thing could be very pivotal. That this could be a, an inflection point. Is that the correct expression? Inflection point for India's
Yeah.
politics. And I mean, some people might argue that it's some outsiders getting carried away, but obviously it has captured the popular imagination, which is difficult to do at
Yep.
the best of times,
Yep.
especially difficult when you're dealing with a country of, what is it, 1.4 billion people. Do you think that this has damaged Modi? I mean, I don't think it's fatal to his political career, but do you think it's damaged him
Yeah.
personally? Not just his
Oh,
education minister,
absolutely.
not just the Home Secretary.
Oh, the like, oh yes, the number of videos I've seen of people criticizing Modi, taunting Modi, mocking Modi.
Yeah.
This would not happen before, like
Okay.
in the UK we take for granted that somebody could wear a t-shirt saying "fuck Farage" and they can go out in public and that's okay. In like India, you cannot wear "fuck Modi" and go out. But
Yeah.
now people are creating those videos on social media. So the fact that this is happening broadly, not in a single segment, right? Like it's across class and divides. Yeah, people are becoming fearless. And when people become fearless, then they really don't stop till they get what they started out to.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah. So, where would you like this to go next? This youth movement that has been created.
Yeah.
Where would you like to
Well,
see
I
it go?
think Well, I think realistically, Modi is going to serve out his full 5-year term because it's very unlikely, given
Mm.
his position in parliament, that he can be kicked out
Yeah.
prior to that. But in the next election, I would love to see a coalition of, the like opposition parties across regions and like across various leftist sort of places for them to form a coalition and for them to select a leader who
Mm.
can undo the damage that 12 years of Modi has done. That is not just limited to politics and society, but also to like oligarchs, to the amount of natural resources being taken away, to climate change. India is one of the biggest, I mean, climate change is going to have such a big impact on India. It is having a big impact right now, but
Yeah. Yeah. People are
India,
dying.
because of the Himalayas and the glaciers, this is
Yes.
going to become so much bigger. So India needs to get serious about this, like
Yeah.
super serious. So yeah, I hope that can happen in the next, like 2029.
Yeah.
Let's
Yeah.
see.
I think if we do another one of these, we should talk about climate change and its effect on India. I think that'd be a really interesting topic to
Yeah.
talk about because there's a lot of factors all coming together, which are not going to make it
Yeah,
very pleasant to be in India, in certain places in India, certainly, going forward,
yeah,
unless something
absolutely.
is done. And there's been some creative solutions, I think, to some of the problems, but others still go sort of
Yeah.
unaddressed. Before we go on, though, Saz has just dropped in a £5 super chat. So thank you so much to Saz. And I'll trigger the confetti. Yay! Confetti! Woo! Buddinator is demanding bin Feffy. No, if you want bin Feffy, you have to pay for bin Feffy, Buddinator. Put your money where your bin is. But yeah, and just sort of like a final point just to wrap up, because obviously we can't be yakking all night. And we are coming up to 7 o'clock now. And I did
Yeah.
say before the show I'd only keep you for an hour. I want to try and be a man of my word. Yeah, what should people outside of India, not actually in the whole thing, what should we look out for next? What would be a sort of thing? Would it be this the guy in charge of the police stepping
Yeah.
down? Would it be Modi? I mean, what do you think we should be looking out for?
Yeah, no, I think rather than look out for certain things to happen, I'd say just be generally curious about India because India's future is the world's future to a very large extent. What India does determines how we all might live in the future.
Yeah.
just because of its population, just because of the number of young people India has. Like if we need doctors in the future in the UK or in Europe or in the US, they might come from India. I mean, they come from India now,
Yeah.
but they might come from India even more in the future.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I'd say just be curious about India, find out what's going on. And yeah, you can read newspapers or you can watch the news, but the best thing to do is follow Indian creators on social media, follow leftist Indian creators on social media. And if anybody needs recommendations,
Yeah.
then I
Yeah.
am
Yeah.
like
Please
gonna
do.
pass them on to you, Graham, and you
Yeah.
can
Yeah.
share with your channel.
Well,
But
we'll do
yeah,
a.
there are plenty of amazing people out there,
Oh, fantastic. Well,
quite a
we'll
few.
try and do a Sunday night social where we can pass that on. And also, Pranay, I'm planning, we've got the Politics Social WhatsApp group. WhatsApp are making it so
Oh,
you
yes.
can make groups in the future. I don't think they do it just yet, but with your username, the new usernames, without having to give
Ah,
your
yes, I
phone
heard about
number
that.
away. So I'm hoping as soon as that's set up, the people who have joined this channel will be able to join that, and then I'll
Brilliant.
throw that in there because I should be on Discord more, mate. But I'm really shit at it. I get a bit overwhelmed. I go in, it's just like too many words. It's like this massive text document. I'm like, oh no. And Pollinator has put their money where their mouth is. Well, where their bin is, where their bin lid is. So thank you so much for the £2 super chat. It gives me great pleasure to introduce Count Bim Feffy. Here he is. Bim Feffy. Whee! That's just Pollinator. Well done, pun. It's all good fun with pun in Eta. Okay, so Pranay, thank you so much for joining me this evening.
Thank you, Graham.
And hopefully we can do this again. I would like to talk about climate change now it's affecting India. I think that'll be a really interesting topic of conversation. Always good to learn more things about places around the world. Because I do feel like this channel is just far too much. Guess what's happening in Britain and guess what's happening in America. And America just seems to be sucking all the political
Oh,
oxygen out of the world because Trump's there with his tin on his head, banging it with a wooden spoon, going, look at me, look at me. But yeah, so thanks very much for coming on, Pranay. I hope we can do this again sometime. Thanks everyone for watching. Thanks for the super chats. I'll be back tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. with Morning Brew. That's what it's called. Morning Brew on Hughes of the World. And until then, thank you so much for watching. Hello, good evening, welcome, and goodbye.